Well, we had some lunch. I've been to town. Unfortunately, the package that I was expecting there based on the tracking information wasn't there, so probably Monday. Now I get to go check to see how this stuff all goes together. Well, that's on there now. Let's see how this one goes. This is the one that I'm concerned about glue getting in some of the threads. There's a little bit of rubbing that's going on. I don't think that's going to be a problem. That feels like it's in there right. And now I need to build an arm coming up here to go to the drip irrigation manifold. And this is it right here. I'm going to see if I can reuse this. The end of this is bad, but we'll see if I can cut this off and reuse this piece right here. It'd be nice if I could. I'm trying to save using all these fittings. The more fittings I can save, the happier we're going to be, because fittings have become really outrageous. These union fittings that I'm using right now are almost $8 a piece. Yeah, you heard it, $8 a piece. That's a lot of money for a pretty simple piece of PVC plastic. Let's see if this one will cut through. I'm hoping it will. And that was a success. That's great. The question is, where am I going to put the valve exactly for this piece right here? Good question. I know I have some new valves right here. There you go. Now I can glue this fitting right there, and there's enough room for me to cut it apart. One of the things I'm trying to do is accommodate keeping these pieces of the irrigation pipe that's up out of the ground as low as I can practically put them, so that if Rufus jumps up here, he'll have less of a chance of breaking it. We'll see about that. Well, now I need to get a T-fitting. There's one right here. Now this T-fitting needs to be up about here. That's just the way it goes. It needs to be high so that there's no low spots in the pipe for water to collect, just in case we have a freeze, especially if we're out of town. Try fitting this together. It should work. I need there to be room for 90-degree angle to go down into this valve right here. So I'm going to put this up right about here. Now if I were plumbing in the utility building or something like that, I'd be much more precise about these measurements. But because I'm doing this outside and I need to make sure I have enough room for all the bits and pieces that have to go in here, I'm erring on the side of making it a little bit bigger than I would if I were inside. I have room for fudging out here that I wouldn't inside. Let me get this cut going straight. See if this piece of pipe still will cut without breaking. It looks like it's going to. Bonus. I'm making a stack of these fittings so the union goes down on the bottom. The T comes out the top. I'll need to put a 90-degree in the line that goes down to the lower portion of the irrigation system. I think this is going to be close enough. I need to put on some rubber gloves so I don't get goop all over my hands. Hey, goop, that's a technical term. These solvents aren't really very good for you. Sometimes I put on gloves, sometimes I don't. I really ought to do so more often. A large pack of these exam gloves or mechanics gloves are cheap insurance. All gloved up. I'm going to go ahead and prime both ends of this T because I want to get the valve on the top of that T tonight if I can. And I think I can. If you're doing plumbing with PVC pipe and PVC glue, be aware there's several different kinds that have different setting times. This isn't red hot, this is regular straight blue PVC glue. Red hot will set in just a few minutes. It's great if you're trying to replumb something that's broken and you need to be able to use it really quick. I have the screw part already on the pipe. I just need to press this part of the fitting on. That is done. That's awesome. All right, now I need to put a valve on the top of this. And the only tricky thing here is I need to make sure that the valve can be turned when this is set up. I need another little piece of pipe to go in the top of this. I'll see if I have one already cut in my box. We save most every cutoff that's of any quality because you never know when you're going to need it. Like now. Now my question is, do I make extra room here in case I need to cut something off or not? I'm not going to really make it extra long. I'm going to make it a serviceable size. Make sure I'm square. And hopefully this piece of PVC will cut fine too. Excellent. Okay, now for the valve. This is my new valve right here. Time to prime it and glue it. And make sure that this valve turns in a convenient direction. It does. Now, you know, if you have these ball valves, one of the things you can do to make it easier to turn them is you can get some food grade silicone grease. Close the valve and put a little grease in on that ball on both sides. And what that does is it tends to keep it from getting closed up by mineral deposits or things like that. That makes it really hard to open and close. So, putting some grease on it makes it easier. Primer first. One side, now the other. And prime in the valve. And the trick here is you want to make sure you don't get so much glue in this piece that it will make the ball valve stick. You can do that. It can happen. I want enough, but not too much. I'm hoping this is going to be good enough. And looking inside the valve, there's no glue in the valve, which is awesome. That's just what I wanted. You know, in a few more weeks, I'm not going to be reaching down inside these cinder blocks with just these gloves on, because we get both black widows and we do get brown recluse. And I don't want to be having that kind of a problem. Oh, we get scorpions too. They're not too much of a problem though. I'm thinking that if I put this valve right there, it'll be in a good spot. So that's what I'm going to do. I got a quarter turn on the pipe that's going into the fitting. That's what the instructions require. So that's good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my glue and my primer, get my tools together, take them in the house. So if we have a little bit of moisture tonight, they're not going to rust. I'll be back tomorrow to finish setting this up. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, because we have a lot more going on. Irene's down in the studio working on some of her new projects for her shop. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey, don't forget to brainstorm. We do.